Hey comic book friends, I'm Travis and this is another edition of What the Fugue, where I talk about what's going on in my world of comics for the week. Of course, this weekend coming up is going to be New York Comic Con, so we're going to start getting tons of announcements come out and all kinds of crazy stuff, so I'm sure I'll have more to talk about next week as far as that kind of stuff goes. Announcements have already started to roll out of the New York Comic Con already, though, even though tomorrow is the day that really it all gets started. Some of those things I'll kind of talk about somewhat briefly. First thing, Superior Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man is stopping at 700, and it's going to begin with Superior Spider-Man, issue number 1. Which, fine, whatever. I'm real curious to hear what other people have to say about this that are actual Spider-Man readers, because my understanding from reading the news article in one of the major newspapers, I can't remember which one it is right now, that it's gonna be a darker book. Spider-Man's gonna have new powers, and he's going to have a new, edgier, darker kind of costume. Okay, I'm at read Avenging Spider-Man, and one of the things about all this I find curious is supposedly with the Marvel Now coming out, Avenging Spider-Man is supposed to still be around, and I guess Yost is going to be writing it, which is somewhat interesting, that fact, and I do get Avenging Spider-Man. But isn't a dark, edgy, gritty, isn't that all wrong for Spider-Man and Peter Parker? I mean, isn't at the end of the day, isn't he the person that's supposed to kind of be above all of that? I mean, I know the guy gets depressed, he gets bummed out, bad things happen, and whatnot. But really, at the end of the day, isn't he the epitome of the hero? Peter Parker, Spider-Man, isn't the epitome of hope and good triumphing over evil, being able to do things the right way, or the good way, and it win out in the end, ultimately. And they're going to turn him into this kind of, I don't know. It seems kind of a bummer to me. Yeah, I mean, kind of a dark and brooding universe. He had this one candle of kind of hope, and now it sounds like it's been snuffed out. So I'm real curious as to what you Amazing Spider-Man collectors think of that. I mean, I used to collect Spider-Man. I haven't collected Spider-Man in a lot of years. But yeah, what's that going to be like for you guys? I'm curious. Other things that have been talked about that kind of affect me. I've quit collecting Demon Knights, but I hear after issue 16 they're changing writers. Paul Cornell is no longer going to be the writer of Demon Knights. That Robert Bedetti, who's currently writing the current run of X-O Man of War for Variant Comics, is going to be writing the book. Bernard Chang still on art. I'm going to be curious for those of you who are still collecting that to hear your reviews of that when that starts up, to see how the characters change and whatnot. I'm curious. You know, are they actually going to use the horse woman and stuff like that? Be kind of curious about that. Other things that I've heard already kind of spilling out of the thing is, of course, we all know Grant Morrison is leaving the superhero books that he's currently writing. So starting with either issue 16 or 17, after Grant Morrison's run on Action Comics, Andy Diggle is going to be the writer. I like Andy Diggle as a writer. I really liked him when he was on Hellblazer. I know he's written like Daredevil. He's written a lot of his own creator-owned stuff and whatnot too. So I'm curious to see what he does. Sounds like he's going to move things forward. Action Comics will now be set in the current timeline as opposed to 5 years earlier, like Grant Morrison's thing. The one maybe caveat to that whole thing is that Tony Daniels is going to be doing the artwork on it. Now, I'm not a Tony Daniels hater. I kind of like some of the stuff he does. I kind of like some of the artwork he did for Batman, not necessarily storytelling, but the artwork itself. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick up a few issues of Superman. The other really interesting thing is you see some pictures of it. DC hasn't said anything about it yet. They haven't answered any questions. I'm assuming they're going to do that at the actual New York Con. He's got a darker suit. He's wearing like a black, like a charcoal gray or black type Superman suit. So I'm curious as to see what that's all going to be all about also. But they promise in this new story to write more of the Superman family, dealing with the other Kryptonians that are in the DC universe. They're also going to deal more with the Daily, Bugle and Lois, and Jimmy Olsen, all those people. There's going to be some sort of, more conflict interaction between Clark and Lois Lane, which could lead to all kinds of interesting stuff because of the whole Superman Wonder Woman thing. That could be really interesting, I think. You could write some really interesting stories, I think, as for the potential of Lois Lane competing with Wonder Woman. That could be really, really interesting and cause some really complicated stuff. I might be interested in reading that. I might be flirting with picking up a Superman comic again. And I've only made it a couple issues into any Superman series I've ever tried before. So that could be kind of cool. I believe today, I'm recording this on Wednesday. I don't know when it'll actually load up. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I believe today is the first of the Marvel Now books come out. And I think it's Uncanny Avengers comes out today. I sent the Disembodied Voice to actually go and pick up that first issue for me. I didn't order it in advance. I wasn't going to get it, but I'm curious to at least see the first issue of it. So I'll be picking that up, and maybe, heck, who knows? Maybe I'll do a Not on the Pole. It's been almost a year since I've done one of those, so maybe I'll do one of those for it. We'll see. Yeah, that's, I think, all I've got going on right now. There's been some great videos out there. I can't think of any off the top of my head to name off in particular. Watch the people I watch, sub the people I sub, I guess. There's some fun stuff going on. Comic community is great. I get a kick, come home from work every day, jump down and watch a few videos, see what everybody else has got going on and whatnot. That's it for this time around, I think. Oh no, thanks for everybody who's been who watched like our last, me and Ethan's last Monster Comic review. It's a bit silly. Hopefully the rest of this month of October we'll have some more themed videos somewhere along those lines. We'll see what we can pull out. Like I've said before, kind of a busy time for Ethan with school and weekend activities, so we'll see what we can squeeze in and whatnot. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about before I go jumping off here. This last week I did a segment I've started calling Uncover the Covers, where I look at the current solicitation covers that have just come out for all the books for Marvel and DC, and I attempted to do one for Image and Vertigo books that kind of got messed up before I figured out how the whole Google Hangout thing works. But I have some questions about me doing that. They're really long. I haven't figured out how to cut them any shorter. I try to talk about them as fast as I can. It's really cool that people hang out and talk with me and whatnot. Some people have been asked if they could come, if they could come on the Google Hangout with me and talk about the books. My only concern with doing that, certainly I love everybody else's opinion too, and I would gladly have a discussion with anybody on any of the covers and whatnot. What do you like, what don't you like, what do you think works or don't work, because we certainly all have our opinion on what we think works and not works. So, getting more opinions, that's cool. That's what this community is about for me, one of the things it's about for me. My only concern is if I get people on that, if it's taking me anywhere between an hour and 30 minutes to talk about those covers, how long of a hangout will that make if other people come along and chat with me too about the covers. And my only concern with that is I'll enjoy it while I'm doing it, because I'll make sure I do it sometime when I've got lots of time just to sit and talk for forever. That's no problem. But I want it to be I'm saving it as a video on my YouTube channel so people can watch it if they want to. And I don't know how many people, go back and watch it when it's not live. But I want it to be something that's watchable, and I get concerned when the videos get that long that who's going to want to sit through that. And so part of me is like, what's the point of me doing it if no one's interested in watching it? So, yeah, I don't know on that. I'm still working on the whole sound thing. The sound quality for some reason isn't real great for me with the Google Hangouts. It didn't seem to be so bad when I was doing the Comic Talk podcast, cast thing that we do with the group on Fridays or Saturday nights. That didn't seem so bad when I was talking, but when I'm doing even just by myself, if I'm showing something else on the screen, I don't know if it's a bandwidth issue or if it's on Google's end. Some people suggest that it's on Google's end, and so that's kind of a bummer, because I like to be able to be heard. I don't want it to sound like I'm so horrifically auto-tuned or worse that it's awful to listen to me talk, because I'm assuming that's part of the reason to come and watch it is to listen to me talk about the covers. At any rate, so what do people think about that? I'm all for having people come and sit and chat covers with me and whatnot, but then it gets really long. Or if that's the case, do I break it up into further segments? It seems like breaking it up by company was what my plan was before. That seemed to work best, but I'm not trying to break it down further. I kind of know how to break down DC's, because DC's kind of has their comic books and comic book lines. There's there's the Superman line, Superman family of books. There's the Bat family of books. There's the Edge. There's the all the different things that they talk about, the Lantern books and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know that like Marvel is broken down quite so much that way and stuff. It's either that, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the solicitations beforehand and talk about some covers I like and I think work well, and talk about other covers that I don't like and I think don't work well. And I guess I could do that and invite people in on that, and they can give their opinions on the covers that I have an opinion of, and have their own opinion on what other covers. So we just talk about a couple handfuls of covers as opposed to 50 plus covers for each one of those videos. I don't know, just some thoughts I'm tossing out. If you have an opinion one way or the other, if you're interested in being part of that and have an opinion how you think that works, and the pitfalls involved with it being a long video or too long of a video, whatever, yeah, let me know. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Thanks for the subscribes, and checking this out and checking out the other videos. Great fun. See you later this week, everybody.